So her husband goes and he investigates, and he reaches in the hole and he looks at her and he says, "Call the police, there's a dead body here."
Ready? Theme song all together now.
Okay, I had to come as my favorite YouTuber, Bailey Sarian. She does Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday, and she also, if you like history, she has a show and podcast called Dark History. So if you're not subscribed to her, get your life together, because that's who I am today. I tried to copy her tattoos, and this is the sleeve thing that keeps falling down, but, just go with it, okay? Welcome to Paranormal. My name is Scare-A-Thon, and I combine my love of snacks and ghost attacks. Anyways, here's a little side-by-side of Bailey's look that she did. This is when she first kind of started doing Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday. This is the look that she did, so we're kicking it old school. And then here she is.
Know your thoughts. But other than that, I hope you have a very good day today. You make good choices. Be safe out there. I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.
I'm a poor man's Bailey Sarian, if you will. But I'm trying here, okay? Okay, you guys, we're in the month of October, which means we're back to spooky paranormal stories. And it got me thinking. So, I don't know how many of you are homeowners and how many of you are renters, but right now we are renters. And the end of 2019, we were thinking, okay, we should probably buy a home now. Well, 2020 hit, and yeah, my husband does modern cabinetry, so his business was put on hold for a little bit. And so then everyone decided to move here, and housing prices went from the median home price of $330,000 here in Boise to over $500,000 currently is the median home price. So yeah, we're putting that on hold. And you're probably thinking, okay, why are you telling us this? Well, it got me thinking. Okay, there's haunted houses, right? I hear about them all the time doing this channel. And I thought, okay, who is in and out of multiple homes a day? Real estate agents, right? So I did a little research, and on this website here, I found some pretty terrifying stories told by the real estate agents themselves. So stay tuned for that. At the end of the episode, I will be showing you a fall party recipe that's super cute and super delicious. So stay tuned, watch till the end. But yeah, let's get into it. Story number 1 takes place in Georgia. And we'll call it First Listing Gone Wrong. And this was submitted by Jacqueline. So Jacqueline first became a real estate agent in hopes to sell her recently deceased uncle's home in Buckhead, Georgia. This was a 3-story, beautiful carriage home. Unfortunately, though, her uncle suffered from mental illness, so the inside was in disarray, to say the least. So she went to the house with a contractor one day. It was a hot summer day, about 94 degrees, and they were going through the house and saying what needs to be done. And again, it was hot, the air conditioning wasn't on, and all of a sudden they feel this frigid cold air. So the contractor's thinking, okay, maybe it's coming from the basement. Let me investigate that. So the contractor goes down to the basement, and Jacqueline is walking around still looking at what needs to be done, and she's thinking, okay, it's been a while. Where's he at? Can't take that long to figure out where cold air is coming from. So she goes down to the entrance of the basement. She calls down for the contractor and hears nothing. She calls down again, and then in a burly, manly voice that she didn't recognize, she hears the words, help me. So she runs downstairs. She finds that the contractor is tied up and unconscious. So she immediately thinks, okay, there's a burglary going on. I better call 911. So she runs upstairs and she calls 911. And she goes back down to check on the contractor, and he comes to, and he doesn't remember a thing that went on. And he doesn't remember calling out for help either. So the police come and they take the contractor to the hospital, where test results came back inconclusive. So the next day, Jacqueline goes with her husband, as backup, of course, to the home to do some investigating to see if there was possibly forced entry in any of the windows or doors. So as they're searching the house, they're not finding anything. But as they're searching the house, they hear a loud noise, a loud bang in the basement. So with yesterday fresh on her mind, she's clearly freaking out, as I would too. And so they decide to go down together to investigate. So they go down to the basement and they, again, feel this frigid air come. And she's like, oh no, same thing's happening. And then she starts to smell this horrible acidic smell. And she can't really wrap her mind around what's going on. So they get down to the bottom of the basement, and right before their eyes, the ground sinks in. And it sinks into this perfect 3x3 square. And they look at each other and they're like, holy crap, what's going on? So her husband goes and he investigates, and he reaches in the hole and he looks at her and he says, call the police, there's a dead body here. He felt the bones of a dead body. So the police come and they excavate the garage, and they see that there's not just one dead body, but there's 2 dead bodies. So Jacqueline's thinking, oh my gosh, my uncle is a murderer. So upon examination of the bodies, the examiners did what they did. They examined the body and they concluded that the bodies suffered from severe torture down in the nether regions, and also blunt force trauma to the head. And she's thinking, gosh, my uncle is a monster, right? Well, the examiners also said that the bodies were probably killed around 1944. So 1944 is when her uncle's parents passed away and gave him the house. And he was at the age of around 18. But he wasn't around at the age of 18. He was out fighting war, fighting the Nazis. And he didn't come home until 1947. So could the examiner's dates be off? Possibly by a couple years? Maybe. Was her uncle a murderer? Possibly. But there's still no explanation for the frigid air that they felt. And there's no explanation for the cry out of help that they heard in a voice that they didn't recognize. So what are your theories? I'm curious. Comment down below. Story number 2 takes place in California, and it was submitted by Sonia. And we'll call it, He Would Be Upset If He Knew. Sonia received a strange call from a potential seller one day, and the seller says, look, I have a male ghost in my house, so it's best if we don't meet at the house right now and you come to my office and we meet and discuss. Sonia's thinking, okay, sounds good. I'll go to your office. Sounds good. So they go to her office and they meet and they talk about the house, and Sonia gets the listing. So Sonia sets up an open house, but before she sets up the open house, she goes through the house and she starts taking photos. She takes photos of each room, and as she's looking at the photos, she's like, wait a second, there's blurry spots in every photo, every single photo, and there's no smudge on my camera. What's going on? So she thought, okay, that's odd, mixed with knowing that there's a possible ghost in the house, and then these blurry photos. So she asks the homeowner if she could use the restroom. And as she's walking down the hall, she sees the door slam shut. And she's thinking, okay, that's creepy because there's no one else in the house right now. It's just her and the homeowner. So she goes and she carries on with the open house. So Sonia shakes it off and they go on with the open house. 5 minutes into the open house, guess what? The cabinet doors are opening and slamming shut, opening and slamming shut. She goes into another room and the rocking chair is going crazy, back and forth, back and forth. And not only that, you can hear an audible cry. So this goes on for 30 minutes of the open house, just craziness. And finally the homeowner is like whispering to the ghost saying, it's okay, you can come with us. We just need a bigger house. It's no offense to you. We just have to sell this house and you can come with us. And Sonia's thinking, this is insane. I can't believe this is happening. So after the 30 minutes, the seller says, okay, you know what? Let's just call it off. Let's just end it. Sonia clearly agrees and obliges. So needless to say, Sonia didn't sell the house and can't explain what went on that day. And she says this is the scariest moment in her career of real estate. And yeah, no kidding, it would be mine too. And how can you sell a house with an audible cry? I have that enough with a 2-year-old. So what are your thoughts? Do you believe the house is haunted? Our last story takes place in Michigan. It was submitted by Carolyn, and we'll call it a flooding by hanging. Carolyn was selling a home of an elderly widowed woman, and this was sadly going into foreclosure. The home was worth $500,000, but it was in need of some serious updates because it was stuck in the 70s. So while Carolyn was painting and staging the home, she hears water, and she noticed in every single bathroom and the kitchen, the faucets were on. No one else was there. So she goes room by room and she turns off the faucets and thinks, oh, that's weird. Anyways, she goes on with her day and continues painting, and again, she hears water. All the faucets again at the same time are going off. So again, she goes room by room and she turns them off. And she's thinking, okay, something creepy is going on here. Yeah. So the house goes under contract and it needs to be inspected. So Carolyn's there during the inspection and she's holding her breath thinking, please, nothing crazy go on. And so far, so good. The faucets haven't turned on. So she's thinking, okay, I can relax a little bit. This is gonna be all right. Then, all of a sudden, she hears this gush of water in the basement. And she's freaking out. She's like, oh no. During the inspection, crap. So she runs down to the basement and a pipe has broken and is squirting water everywhere, flooding the basement. So she goes and she shuts off the main line. The contract didn't fall through, luckily. She did have to get the plumbing fixed and all the damage remedied, which she did, and the house was sold. But the seller failed to mention that, elderly widowed woman, well, her husband decided to take his life before they sold the home. And would you know it, he hung himself on that very pipe that broke. So could it have been him that was turning those faucets on? We'll never know. So it turns out in some states, you do not have to disclose if somebody had died in that home, which is unfortunate. But a lot of real estate agents feel a moral obligation to disclose that. But just so you know, if you're looking for a house, I would ask, because I think if you ask, they have to tell you. But if you don't ask, they don't have to tell you. Now it's time for a little palate cleanser. Let's get to the fall recipe. It's super cute. Stay tuned. We'll need Rice Krispies, mini marshmallows, red and yellow food gel, and butter. For the yellow layer, you need 2.5 cups of mini marshmallows, 2 tablespoons of butter, salt, 5 drops of yellow food gel, and 2.25 cups of rice cereal. Put the marshmallows and butter in the microwave for 30 seconds. that's how you do it. This is how it should look, and then you add in the yellow food gel and the rice cereal. Then in an 8x8 round pan, you put the yellow layer around the edges, push it into a circle as firm as you can. I would suggest spraying your hands with Pam. And then you're going to repeat that same circle with the orange layer. In the orange layer, you will need 1 3/4 cups of marshmallows, 2 tablespoons of butter, a pinch of salt, 5 drops of yellow food gel, 1 to 2 drops of red food gel, and 1 1/4 cup of cereal. And that's the orange and the white layer. For the white layer, you will need 3/4 cup of marshmallows, 1 tablespoon of butter, pinch of salt, and 3/4 cups of cereal. And this is how it looks. How cute. Make it for your party and let me know how it goes. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. I read them before bedtime, and that was a mistake because I did not sleep that night. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the recipe and I hope you make it. And if you do, please tag me in it. And if you have any stories of your own, I would love to hear it. And if you are not yet subscribed, would you please subscribe and then click that like button while you're down there. Anyways, I cannot wait to get out of this because I am so uncomfortable, and yeah, I need to get some pajamas on because I'm not feeling this. Anyway, I love Bailey Sarian, so subscribe to her as well, and you will not regret it. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week with some more spooky stories and another costume idea. So stay tuned. Bye guys. Have a good week.